You know, come on, Uncle Mo. Just how this show started off the get-go. Come on, Uncle Mo. Let's stop this shit. Otherwise, I got to go to our cousins on the ill side once again.
So the earliest we're going to be able to make bets here in Missouri is September 1st. The earliest.
And then, see, I was so looking forward to June.
Right.
I was so looking forward to June. I was like, oh, June, like, please come along. But September 1st, I can deal with this, please. I was like, give me football season here to where I don't have to, like, venture out and make these drives.
We won't have to make too many drives.
Yeah. Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to Bets and Buds. We're the buds to help you cash your bets. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back. We had a little hiatus here post-football season and just kind of gathering ourselves back to see what's going on in the world of sports nowadays. And we got to switch to other sports that we have to, like, at least for me, pretend to care about.
Catch up on.
And then catch up on what's going on in the world of the NBA and world of NHL. MLB spring training has started. So we got a lot of sports on the cusp here. MotoGP, Director Dave and his sport here, whatever they call that shit. But either way, we're back in action here. Welcome to see you, brother.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm all good, man. All good. So let's get back into this, dive into a little action here, man. One thing I want to talk about beforehand is just before we dive into anything else sports-wise. So what is some of you guys, like, personal sports favorites once football season ends? As far as what do you look forward to? What keeps you going and keeps that sports bug going?
I actually ended up watching some of the Daytona 500.
Did you?
I like car racing for whatever reason. I mean, they do just go in circles, but I guess it's the wrecks and like the photo finishes and stuff like that. Car racing has always been cool to me.
Yeah,
all kinds, like midgets and dirt track and all. I mean, all that.
Can you say that still? Midget racing? They
yeah.
Still call it
Actually, I don't think they do.
I don't think they still call it midget racing.
I don't think they do.
It's like, coming back.
Oh man, I tried to do the car racing, man. I really did. There were some times when I was a young kid, I'd sit there and watch it. Like, you know what? There's nothing else on Saturday afternoon. Let me go see what's going on in this.
Oh, it can get pretty boring. Like after the first
track.
hour, you're like, okay, something exciting needs to happen.
Everybody always tells me you got to see it in person. Like that.
I have seen it in person.
Yeah.
So I went up to the Brickyard one year and watched the Brickyard 400. So
yeah,
that was really fun.
Everybody always tells me that you got to see it in person. You know, one of the things I used to actually like, probably only auto sport thing, was I used to be a big monster truck fan. Like big monster truck sports. My uncle got me into that shit back when I was a kid, man. And so I actually liked it. We had Taurus and Bigfoot and Grave Digger,
and I don't know.
And what was the other? Eliminator. Eliminator was the other big one that was on back in the day.
Did you ever? I've never seen that in person.
Oh, I've seen it in person. I actually had a piece of when Taurus crashed. I used to have a piece of one of the the fiberglass of like the back panel of the truck and shit.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, because you watch them jump and smashing the cars and everything else like that. So it's like, okay, there's a little bit more action than them just driving around in a circle. So that's what. So for me, my personal favorite is. I'm a big NFL draft fan. Like that is one of my big things as we get into the knowledge, and we'll dive into a little bit of some of that here after a while. But I'm actually a big baseball fan. I enjoy this time of spring training. I enjoy when the pitchers and catchers report. You see the young prospects come into play, especially being a Cardinals fan because we had a lot to root for in the majority of our life.
We have. We've had a good run.
These last couple of years have been tough, but I'm interested to see what the boys bring this year. As far as there's some young talent there because this is the first time in our lifetime that we're seeing a full youth movement with what the Cardinals are trying to do.
It is forward. Because it's always been very veteran oriented.
Very veteran-oriented, and you're making sure that you always had... There was always corner pieces.
Right.
There was always, organization and corner pieces.
We really don't have that right now.
Yeah, we don't really have that. I mean, because Arenado, we can't call him a corner piece because they're trying to ship him out of here
to get him going.
To the best bidder that he will accept a trade from. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, there's no marquee pitcher that's a leader.
The closest face to the franchise you have right now would probably be Mason Wynn.
Mason Wynn is the next guy.
Yeah, he has the potential to turn into a superstar. I mean, he had a hell of a rookie season.
Oh, absolutely. And hopefully they manage Jordan Walker right. I mean, that's the thing. 'Cause, I mean, I think the kid has the tools to do so. So let's see what happens. But
just get him in the lineup. Let him play right field. I mean, the only thing he can do is get worse.
See, the one thing that I don't like. So let's see what happens with Wilson Contreras going to first base now. If that improves his hitting because he doesn't have the wear and tear of being a catcher all the time. So that might help him out offensively. maybe another year of Jordan Walker being in right field. He's a little bit more comfortable there where his bat's in place. But please don't put him in the 6 and 7 hole. He's been a 3, 4, 5 hitter his entire career.
Right, and they have a tendency to bury him deep in
they bury him deep in the lineup, and that seems to mess with his psyche when he knows he's not going to come up to bat until the third inning, fourth, you know what I mean? Like that's tough. I mean,
it would be tough to always be the 7th or 8th.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a psychological disadvantage for people that don't understand. When this guy has been the guy who's hit third. You got to think in high school he was batting probably third or fourth every single time.
Oh, shit, down in Memphis.
Down in Memphis, third, fourth, every single time. Down for the first time in his life, he's at the back of the lineup, waiting for 2 innings to hit. I mean, that's tough. That's one of the reasons why I quit baseball. I was like, man, I'm tired of waiting to hit. It sucks. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But so that's one of my personal favorites, of course, the NFL draft. I also NHL hockey. I'm still a Blues fan too as well. I get in the hockey season. Right now, the Blues are at one of those in the crossroads. They had a big win last night.
They did. They had a huge win last night. When we get into that, we'll break down some Blues numbers. Yeah. I mean, they're still behind the 8 ball, though.
Yeah, so, I mean, but with that being said, let's transition into that. So how do you look at the outlook for the rest of the season, Bobby?
Well, personally, I think the Blues should. We've got a trade deadline coming up on March 7th. That is actually 10 days away, I believe. So, I think if you're not under contract for next season, you should be eligible to be traded off of this. If somebody will take you, you should be shipped out. Because the thing is, they could make the playoffs this year. But I really think it'd probably benefit them to bring some of the younger kids up and just let them finish out the season.
Let them get some experience.
Get that experience. Mm-hmm. The Blues are in no position to win a Stanley Cup this year, even if they did make it in.
But once you get in, you still got to go for it, though.
Jordan Bennington would have to go on a hell of a hot streak.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to definitely have to do that. I mean, the defense, we'll see. I mean, you just never know. Once you get playoff hockey, is just a different level. It's definitely a second season.
They're only 4 points behind the Calgary Flames right now, who's sitting at 8th spot, but the Flames have 2 games in hand. So if they won both of those games, they'd be 8 back. So, I mean, they still have a battle. They got to climb above 500 again last night for the first time in a while. These next 5 games before the deadline will be the maker right here because it's the Caps, Kings, Stars, Kings, Ducks. Okay. I mean, every one of those games is winnable.
Oh, yeah, so. They're winnable, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything for the
Blues. No, it doesn't
Sometimes mean it's almost the exact opposite for those guys.
Yeah, they go in and just lay absolute eggs. Mm-hmm. But Kairu's your leading goal scorer right now. He's got 24 goals on the season. He's on pace for 33, but I don't know. He runs so hot and cold. We'll see if he makes it there. Thomas has actually been on fire lately. In the last 7 games, he has 4 goals and 7 assists.
I've been very happy with his progression because I was questioning him for a while there because he used to not want to pull the trigger.
Right.
He used to hold the puck.
He definitely shoots.
But he's a lot older now. Mm-hmm. He was 19 when we won that cup. And he's still
only 23.
Yeah, exactly. So he was 19 when we won that cup. Young. So I mean, he's still young. I mean, his game is still evolving. He's got a way to go. He hasn't even quite hit that prime yet. So he has a chance to be that front-running superstar that the Blues are lacking. Because right now it shows in the NHL you can't really win without that Connor McDavid. The Patrick McKinnon, like those type of guys that are, or Nate McKinnon. Kairu, I just don't think he'll ever reach that level. He's not a two-way.
He just doesn't seem like he has that. Yeah, the want.
Yeah, to play he doesn't want to play that full length of the ice. I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean, he's going to turn it up when he gets in across the blue line, but behind the blue line, he's not going to dig and grind for you too much.
I mean, he has been better this year. He's posting a plus. On the plus side of the plus minus, which compared to what he did last year and 2 years ago, being in negative 30 range, he's improved. Don't get me wrong, but he'll never be a superstar. Thomas is actually the one who would be the closest, but he just doesn't seem vocal enough to put himself out there like that become a superstar.
But some of those guys, think about somebody like Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky wasn't really a vocal guy.
He was not vocal. He was just...
And I'm not saying Thomas anywhere near the same.
He was so watchable.
Yeah, he was
just
so
had
phenomenal.
To pay attention to him.
But I mean, so I'm not anywhere close to comparing Robert Thomas and Wayne Gretzky. But it's just saying sometimes some of your best leaders, especially in hockey, aren't always necessarily your best players.
Right,
I mean, they're just hockey's a different sport because the way you got to gel with the line changes and so much that goes
constant
back and forth.
Line changes,
I mean, constant line changes. And then with that being said, what do you think about the I think the NHL got it right with the All-Star Week.
Actually, I made fun of it in a couple of podcasts that we have done, but I actually enjoyed it.
I think that by far was that. I think they figured it out with their Four Nations tournament. I really do.
Think they probably should switch the teams up. Or do a rotation type basis? Because you got some countries not being represented.
Well, because we have to get Russia off the sanctions. Well, because remember,
Russia is on the sanctions.
Yeah, Russia's on the sanctions because you can't really have a full four nations tournament without having Russia involved. I mean, you go like Finland, really. Right. Finland over Russia. I mean, come on, so.
But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable for sure.
Absolutely. So I mean, I say you drop that. I mean, I don't even say you have to drop even one of those teams. Maybe even add, like I said, the
make it 6 teams.
Yeah, 6 teams.
And two brackets of 3 teams, like they do in the Olympics.
So let's say you add Russia, and then who would be the other country that you could add in? Because I mean,
you could go with the Czechs
Poland
or the
Czechs. Yeah, probably Czechs.
You could. Hockey is getting pretty popular around the world.
Oh, so yeah, absolutely. So there would definitely be another team, I'm sure, that you could throw in there. Absolutely, for sure. But I think they got it right out of all the All-Star games, because that NBA All-Star game, All-Star weekend was the worst.
Oh, you didn't like the 2 minutes of double points?
My God, that was the absolute worst. I mean, I couldn't even watch it. I mean,
I didn't watch it.
Even the slam dunk competition, because the thing is now at this stage of the game, unless you have the superstars involved, that's one of the things that gets the eyes on it. But then after that, I mean, like we've pretty much seen every dunk that anybody could possibly do. I mean, there's not really anything else you could do. So that's why the 3-point competition has actually become like the highlight of the All-Star
Jump over a building's next.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you can think of at this stage. I mean, like, everybody's, I mean, unless you get somebody like Wemby all of a sudden to come dunk from the 3-point line.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, that's the only dunk really that's left to do. But now he's out for the season with blood clots in his shoulder. So we'll see. I mean, that's always the scary part when you have guys that are that big, that tall.
Right.
There's a lot
of
problems. A lot of your circulatory system has to function when you're that tall. I mean, most of those guys don't live very long because of that reason. What was the guy that played the Predator? They died. It was like 7'5".
Oh yeah, he died young.
Andre Giant was a boozer though too. I mean, he
was, but he was still only 42.
Yeah, I mean, he was still only 42. Yeah. I mean, like those big bodies are hard to sustain over a long period of time. They really are. But I mean, so the NBA All-Star game, without jumping into that too far, was like a horrible travesty. So the NHL got a win on that one. They definitely did. They definitely did.
Baseball would have to be a close second for me, even though it's just an exhibition. It's probably the closest actually to being a true game.
Yeah. Yeah, baseball, I mean, the MLB All-Star game is probably the closest as far as second-wise, because you could actually, like you said, you play the closest thing to the real game. And the hockey players, I mean, when the Canadians booed us, our national anthem, and them boys came out and had 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like,
okay, we got a game here. This is like, they're actually doing this for real. I mean, that's what you want to see when you're watching the best of the best play against each other. Is you want to see them giving their best.
Hell yeah.
And, and we don't really get that all the time with a lot of the All-Star games. Understandably so, because that's one of the problems the NBA is having right now. The money is so big. The money, like back in the day when Spud Webb won that slam dunk competition, he needed that $50,000. He did. These dudes, like, you give him $125,000 for the slam, even $1 million. They're like, dude, I made that in 3 games last week. Like, what are we talking about? So, because I mean, you got guys that are like 6, 7, 8 guys off the bench now that have $150 million contracts.
Ridiculous contracts.
So I mean, it's so hard to get that inspiration to say, all right, yeah, I'm going to go out and really show because like Mike was a dog. Kobe was a dog. Like those guys, they wanted to kill you no matter what. And it wasn't about the money they made. It wasn't about anything else. I just want to prove to you why I am way better than you, and you guys are below me. You're all stars, but I am the star. And that's a big difference when mentality wise. And it's hard for these kids to develop that nowadays because, like I said, the money is like, especially NIL now. They're getting money.
It's hard to get out of bed when you're sleeping on
satin sheets.
Yeah, satin sheets.
Shout out to Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, I did not. Is that who said that?
Yeah, Marvin Hagler is the one that said that. He said, it's hard getting out of 4 in the morning to go running when I get sleeping in satin sheets.
I could see how it would be.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Shit.
All right, so that's the Blues talk. We're going to talk about the Tigers next because you have March Madness just around the corner. The Tigers only have 3 games left before the conference tournament starts. They've got Vandy, Oklahoma, and then Kentucky for the last game of the year.
Knocked off number 2 Alabama last week.
They did, and then turned around and shit the bed against Arkansas.
And that's Tigers basketball.
That is the Missouri Tigers.
And that is Tigers basketball.
I mean, in a nutshell, right there. I just shit the actual bed against Arkansas because they're a better team than Arkansas. They should have wiped the floor.
Yeah, but you got what's his name down there though?
Calipari down there.
Calipari down there. You watch. Arkansas is going to be running that.
In a couple of seasons, they'll be running.
Because look at what Rick Pitino's doing up there with St. John's. Mm-hmm. He's been taking it to St. I mean, he's been taking it to him up there in the Big East of St. John's.
They took it to bad.
Oh yeah, UConn. Yeah, UConn. Oh my God, back-to-back national champions, and took it, although they're struggling a lot, they're going to bail. They're going to be squeaking into the tournament.
So the Tigers are 21-7 right now. They're sitting in 5th place in the SEC. I mean, they're they pretty much lost out on by losing to Arkansas. They lost on the chance for that number 2 seed to get that double bye. But maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah,
maybe
sometimes it's better.
Just need to play ball.
Play more games, get yourself into it, be hungry and ready to go. And say, all right, we got to do this, boys.
Yeah, this team is fun to watch. There is no doubt about it.
It's definitely been one of the more fun teams, especially last year. Didn't they go fully defeated in the conference last year?
18 last year.
Fully defeated.
It got to the point after the first 7, I just stopped paying attention. I was like, this team's bad. But, I mean, injuries. Caleb Grill got injured last year. He's back in the lineup, so... they were 7-1 actually with Grill in the lineup last year, and then he got hurt, and then it just kind of steamrolled from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Selection Sunday coming up soon.
Yeah. So the NCAA tournament, that'll be my next little gambling venture. Will be March Madness.
So you got the Tigers sitting 21-7. I believe Illinois is sitting like 18-9, 18-10, something like that. They'll make the tournament. The Billikens probably have to win their conference.
Yeah, probably have to win the A10. Yeah,
because they're sitting in 5th right now in the A10, and they keep. Lose game, win a game. Lose game, win a game.
Yeah, they're gonna have to win that out. They're gonna have to.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's start talking about the thing I really wanted to talk about today, because this is a show about betting. But it turns out that our Secretary of State Denny Hoskins has decided to buck the system, or actually, he didn't buck the system. I mean, he's doing everything within his right as a Secretary of State, but it looks dubious at best.
And so, to me, that smells like kickback money.
This is a former senator that you actually proposed bills of his own for gambling, legalized gambling here in Missouri, but it was always for what the tax was like ridiculous, 20-30% that he would. Right now, as it stands, we're going to get or the Missouri Gaming Commission is going to get, or the casinos will get taxed by the Missouri Gaming Commission at 10%. Okay, when it goes into effect. Right. So. What he has done is the Missouri Gaming Commission they asked for a special, like, emergency license. So
an exemption.
An exemption to kickstart this thing off. Right. If he would have granted it, we would have been betting within 2 weeks. So, but what he's saying is he wants the residents of Missouri to have their voice and voice their concerns about basically the money. How much money is going to come from
and
this.
You know what that really is about.
Yeah, because
that somebody got in his ear that has promised him some kickback to say, if you can hold this off.
Denny Hoskins is actually taking donations from the Missouri Coin Operators Association. He has also taken donations from the Missouri Video, like the video machine.
Game.
Yeah, the video.
Oh, yeah, I'm guaranteed.
And the VLT is what that's called. And he's also taken campaign donations from multiple Illinois.
So of course, even more than because Illinois don't want to see us get it.
Missouri's going to lose $4 to $10 million, and depending on when this actually kicks in.
Right.
Because if you miss the start of football season, I mean that's where most of the money is.
Yeah, that's where most of the money is. I mean, just future bets alone. Like when you start, like as soon as training camp gets initiated, those future bets start piling in because everybody starts looking and says, okay, this team has drafted this. They got these people in free agency they go through. I can see this team being somebody that
So at the beginning of last season, I've found this stat on X today. At the beginning of last season, Missouri residents tried to make 11 million bets in the state of Missouri around the start of football season. But they couldn't because it was not legal here. But then they do that by tracking geolocation. Right. So every time, you log into your betting app here, it pings your location.
Right.
And it knows I'm sitting here in Missouri.
Right.
Until as soon as we cross that line, boom, it kicks in. Go. So, 11 million times Missouri residents tried to make a bet last football season, and they're not going to get to do it again this year either.
So that's why I'm not a big proponent of politics. I don't follow it. I don't go through it because, there's such a dirty game on how these things are done.
It's
it really is. It's such a dirty game. It really is. Because that somebody that got in his ear, even Caesars, who wanted, I guarantee you, if you really took a deep dive and look, Caesars, who was wanting to have a monopoly in Missouri area on sports betting at that time, and they said, no, we're not going to let it happen. Right. Not going to let it. So you get one politician who can say, all right, I'm going to postpone this to my benefit because I know I'm going to get this kickback later on down the line. I mean, that's just. Again.
Well, as a senator, Denny Hoskins, I mean, he blocked all kinds of legislation for legalized gambling. I mean, he put his own forward, don't get me wrong, but only because it benefited
Yeah,
him.
his interest. Well, that's what they call special interest. Special interest in politics.
So, yeah, fuck you, Denny Hoskins.
Yeah. Come on, Uncle Mo. Just how this show started off the get-go. Come on, Uncle Mo. Let's stop this shit. Otherwise, I got to go to our cousins on the ill side once again.
So the earliest we're going to be able to make bets here in Missouri is September 1st. The earliest.
And see, I was so looking forward to June.
Right.
I was so looking forward to June. I was like, oh, June, like, please come along. But September 1st, I can deal with this, please. I was like, give me football season here to where I don't have to, like, venture out and make these drives.
We won't have to make too many drives.
Yeah, I'm
and
hoping.
the latest is December 1st.
Yeah, and the latest is December 1st. Absolutely.
If he do that to me, man, oh my gosh, if they do that to me.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I'll be so mad. But that's the reason why Missouri has fallen behind so many states in so many different capacities. There's no reason why Jacksonville should have a football team and we don't. There's no reason why Charlotte, North Carolina should have a football team and we don't. There's no reason why Indianapolis should be considered a bigger city than us. There's no reason why so many other cities. That's why Kansas City has now been a burgeoning state behind us as far as, city behind us is going through. They're like, oh, we're not little brother anymore. They used to be little brother to St. Louis, but not anymore because they keep climbing and climbing and climbing, and you watch. Now, I've got mind you, they're going to go through the same legislation with us because they're in Missouri still at this state. But, as far as with the Chiefs, they're talking about they might take the team to Kansas City. Kansas,
Yeah, the Kansas side.
Yeah, they might take the Kansas side because, it's just like how the Giants, they don't play in New York. They play in Jersey.
They play in Jersey.
So, you'll still be the Kansas City Chiefs, but you're going to be the Kansas City Kansas Chiefs.
And then Missouri won't have shit to root for.
You don't have nothing to root for. So, that's neither here nor there. But,
terrible.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That one pisses me off, though.
Yeah, but, it is what it is. This is a time of year we got to talk about sports speculation, and that's what we do right now. Sports speculation and all those day in, day out things that kind of matter, but they kind of don't.
So we've got the combine going on.
Yes,
starting tomorrow, right?
No, combine started today.
Oh, it started today.
Special team guys started today. So you had your specialists starting today. You had your kickers, punters, and long snappers starting today.
So it basically starts tomorrow.
Yeah, they're for the skill players. Yeah. But as far as combine, because the combine is not really about what happens on the field. The combine is basically designed for the medical.
Right.
That's what it is. So all these NFL
your
teams,
checks, your interviews.
The main thing is the medical. They get to go through and not have to trust the school's medical, but they go in, okay, let me get your height, your weight, not what their school said you weighed, not what their school said how tall you were. Now, how healthy are those knees? How healthy is your ankles? All those different things.
So, is there anybody you're interested in?
As far as combine wise,
like just see what they do at the combine.
Honestly, I really don't care. Because the combine doesn't tell you how a guy plays. The combine got Xavier Worthy drafted in the first round last year with him breaking the 40 record, running the 4.21. You get some guys like that. The one that I probably say is my biggest intrigue out of all the players in the combine this season, honestly, would be Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart
out of Ole Miss. Ole Miss, yes. Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. He's probably the one player that I'd see because he's kind of climbing. I could see him he's starting to get a lot of Bo Nix comparisons. Remember going into the combine, nobody talked about Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Nobody was talking about Bo Nix being a first round pick, and he ended up going 12 to the Broncos. Had a great season. Jackson Dart, I can see him actually climb up and be that third quarterback into the first round that goes into the first round. So we'll see what happens.
Behind Ward and Shador.
Yeah, Shador's not going to throw. Cam Ward is going to throw in this draft. We also got to see the biggest thing is going to be what happens with Matthew Stafford. So that's what I'll talk about. There's a lot of free agent free agency will start here really soon, and we'll dive into a lot.
I think March 5th.
Yeah, but so until something happens with Matthew Stafford, we won't know where the dominoes fall after that. Because if Matthew Stafford leaves and let's say he goes to Pittsburgh, or let's say he goes to the Giants, okay, does Aaron Rodgers then go to Los Angeles?
Right.
That's been a lot of conversation.
Or Sam Darnold.
Oh no, honestly, I think if anybody's going to go to Los Angeles, it'll be Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Ugh.
They both have discussed mutual, Sean McVay and him have discussed mutual admiration for each other.
I don't know why I'd want to bring that nightmare onto my team.
You know what? I think Aaron Rodgers would be fine out there. You know why? Because Sean McVay is the perfect coach for him to go out to. There was no coaching structure out in New York at the time. There was not. With the Jets, there was no coaching structure that's going on. Then, of course, he had the misfortune of tearing the Achilles. But he's going to go to a system that is very set, very stable, because Sean McVay's been there for over a decade now.
Yeah, he has.
Been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. I mean, there's going to be the offensive system that we've seen that is more than capable. He's got a number 1 receiver in Puka Nacua. They draft very well. I give it up to Les Snead. He did shitty drafts with us here in St. Louis because he was trying to get them the fuck out of here into L.A. But once he got to L.A., he started drafting amazing because they think about when they started saying fuck those picks, and they were drafting 3rd and 4th rounders. They were becoming starters.
Handing them around.
And they were becoming starters. So the dude has shown he knows how to pick out talent. They have a scouting program that obviously is really functioning really well. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting. It's going to be because we got a lot of free agency quarterback moves that are going to happen. Where's Russell Wilson going to go? Where's Justin Fields going to go?
Do the Bengals get something done with Higgins, you think?
I think they're going to franchise him.
You think so?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to give Jamar Chase this huge contract, and they're going to franchise T. Higgins. He's going to make $30 million, and then fingers crossed for you, T. Higgins, that you don't get fucking hurt. That you don't get fucking hurt. That's the main thing that you're looking for.
Right.
I think the Bengals, because they want to run it back. Joe Burrow, he had that MVP type season. They just need to shore up their defense now because they also got to sign Trey Hendrickson, who was he was a sack king last year. He led the league in sacks, so they got to bring Trey Hendrickson back. And then from there, just rebuild that defense. Because they never, on the back end of their defense, they never recovered from losing Jesse Bates. When Jesse Bates signed with the Falcons, Jesse Bates was a huge addition to their defense. Lou Anarumo is now gone. He's with the Colts, and their defensive coordinator who was there for a long time. So we'll see what happens when they go, as far as who they bring in to replace and what type of defensive style that they run. This is where you got a lot of it. The NFL knows how to keep themselves in the conversation no matter what. They do. Because even when you watch the NFL draft does bigger ratings. Even the combine, the combine does bigger ratings in NBA playoff games and NHL playoff games. The NFL is always going to be king. It just always is. They found a way to make sure every month they're in the conversation in some capacity.
True.
They really are. So we will never have a lack of football information to give you guys on a week-to-week basis coming in with Bets and Buds. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button and add to the comment section. We appreciate you guys continue to tune in and support us here. We're going to keep this thing rolling for you. You got anything else for us, Bobby?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
You know what? Director Dave, shout out to you. Keep us up on the 1s and 2s. Shout out to True on the Track for blessing us with those beats. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.